Hi friends, it's been a while, like a real long time. I'm back. I am so glad you're here today. I am so happy to be back talking to you. It has been far too many months since I have recorded an episode, and that's just how life is sometimes. So we're just going to pick up where we left off and keep going, and I'm going to update you on what I've been doing for the past couple months. So welcome. If you are a first-time viewer, welcome to the podcast. My name is Sam, and this is the Sam Squeak Craftcast. I am coming to you from my living room just outside the city of Chicago, where I live with my husband, my two little boys, and my little old dog. And I am a self-described obsessive crocheter. So that is what this podcast is about. So I just talk about the things I'm working on, yarn I have accumulated, and occasionally a pattern or two that I have designed. So that's what we're going to get into today. I have a lot to talk about. So we're just going to jump right in. I hope you're ready. Let's start with things that I have finished. I have finished, I think, a good amount of things. It's not a excessive amount, given that I haven't updated in like 4 months. It's been a really long time, guys. I think it was March the last time I did an episode. That's really sad. But yeah, I have a good amount of stuff. So I made this hat for my husband. I made this in the spring when it was refusing to warm up in Chicago. And it is aptly named No More Snow, a hat. And this is by a blog called Hookers Don't Bite. It is a free pattern on her blog. And it's a really fun kind of knit stitch mimic ribbed. It reminds me of those CC hats that are really popular. And it's a little bit of a play on the camel stitch. It's not exactly the same technique. I really like how close it made the stitches here. This yarn is a mystery yarn that I had in my stash. Most of the yarn in my stash I can at least identify like somewhere where it came from, or like I have a general idea of where I got it, even if I don't know the fiber content. I have no idea what this yarn is from. I decided I needed to make him a hat, went downstairs and dug through it. I was like, random ball of gray yarn, that'll work. It's definitely got a wool content to it. It's a little sheepy. I don't think it's 100% wool, and it's got a pretty good halo on it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little fuzzy. So anyways, it's not getting much use right now since it's July, but I made this. I really enjoyed the pattern. It was super simple, super fast. This is a worsted weight yarn, and I worked it up in like 1 or 2 days. So yeah, that was one of my finished objects. I'm obviously not going in any sort of order right now because I have no idea when I finished any of these things versus what order I made them in. So you're just going to get them as I grab them from my pile. I have a second hat. This was a pattern test I did for This Crochet Life. If you aren't following her on Instagram, you should be. She is fantastic. She has some really great patterns, so I was very happy to get to test this for her. She has not released this yet. I think she's going to release it closer to the fall, but I was able to go ahead and test it. And it has a giant pom-pom on it. Guys, look at this pom-pom. Is that not ridiculous? I love it. This was a gift from the Our Yarn Collective winter gift exchange sent to me by my partner, and I believe it is made by Haley Bailey herself. And this yarn was from my first fiber share partner, Sydney, who has started her own podcast, and you should go watch her. I will link to her down below. She is Oddment Tweak on Instagram and her podcast. So this whole hat is just like my Fiber Friends hat. So the yarn was gifted, the palm was gifted, and the pattern was from somebody that I just really enjoy following. So it was all around my Fiber Friends hat. So this is the Shell Stitch Slouch by this Crochet Life. I'll show it to you up close. So it's made with shell stitches, and it's a slouchy look, and it's got a really nice brim. The fun thing that I really enjoyed about this hat is that it's actually worked top down, and slouchy hats with this kind of gathered look, can't really tell because of the palm, but it does have a gathered look here at the top. It's still worked top down. Really unique hat design. I have not worked another hat like this before. I was really happy with it. And the brim on this hat is really, really good. I have a dilemma that I generally prefer working top-down hats, but I generally prefer the brim on a bottom-up hat. So this is really the best I have found of like combining both of those worlds. It's a really good top-down hat with a really solid brim. And I will put it on and show you. So, yeah, that's my hat. It was really cozy for this winter. Or I think I finished it in the spring actually, but it was cold here for a really long time. This yarn is Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Soli. So it's a worsted weight pattern, and I think I made the like largest child size actually, or the smallest adult size. I have an abnormally small head. But she has a lot of sizes with this pattern and a lot of just detailed breakdown of like what size that it's actually going to be. And this I used exactly one skein. So she has instructions for doing an alternate color brim. So in which case you would just need one skein and a small bit of an alternate color, but I wanted to use up all of the yarn so I didn't have leftover bits, and I had exactly enough for one hat. So I will obviously update on Instagram when this hat is released, and maybe I'll talk about it here again when that happens, if I remember. But you should go check her out and follow her and watch for this when it comes out, because it is fantastic. So that's my other hat. What else do I have? I have 2 garments. Look at me making garments. This is new for me. If you haven't been around for a while, I mostly do small, fast projects because I have a very short attention span I'm a chronic starter and a sometimes finisher of projects, which you will see if you stick around here long enough that quite a few of the things I show off never make it into the finished object segment. But I have 2 actual finished garments, and I have found that the way for me to finish a garment is for me to do a pattern test, because then I have a deadline and I am required and obligated to actually finish it, so I can't allow myself to get distracted halfway through and find a shiny new project to start working on. So the first garment that I have, and I'm not going to put this one on because I don't want to, 1, it's kind of hot, and 2, it would be a whole big thing. So I'm just going to hold it up for you. Can you see that? This is my Tess Tank top, which I believe is a free pattern on Tegan and Lou's blog. She released this originally as a crop top that is available on Ravelry for purchase, and then she released this version, which is the longer full tank. I'll show you the stitch definition. It's really pretty. It's made in Lion Brand Comfy Cotton, and I use like 1.5 balls. So, I love this colorway. I tried to pick a more neutral, but I get suckered in by all the blues. So yeah, this is my Tess tank top, and it is fantastic. It is super comfortable, really fast make, really easy beginner garment. So you should go check that out. My next garment was also a pattern test that I did for Bella's Custom Crochet, and that is the Manoa Cardi. So it is, let me show you here. It's a long cardigan, and I will put this one on for you. Let me see if you can see if I stand up. So it's just a nice open drapey cardigan, and this is made in the Karen Cotton Cakes, their new solid, really big jumbo cakes, and I used about 1 3/4. It was right at about 900 yards, I want to say, and I made her extra small version. This is coming out soon. She has it off in tech editing right now, so it should be released very soon. I'm really happy with it. It's got 3/4 length sleeves with a nice little detailed edging on it, and it's even got a little bit of a ribbed edging there too. Super simple. There's no complicated stitches in this pattern, but it turns out very nicely. I'm really happy with it. So it has been my like take to the office sweater when the air conditioning is up too high, and it's going to get a ton of use this fall. I am already sure I'm going to wear it all the time. So yeah, that'll be released soon, and you should check it out. I will link to Bella's Ravelry page below, and so it'll be released there when it is back from tech editing. So that's my second garment. This is really my, this is only my second cardigan, and it's the first one that's, you know, any more complicated than actually making just a square. Because I made one last year, but it was really just a giant square with the edges seamed up and then like a sleeve added. So this is my first like real cardigan that I've made, and I'm quite happy with it. So there will be more in my future. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time to finish a full sweater. So I don't know how many I'll be making, but you know, I always have too many projects on the go at once. But I'm very happy that I tested this one and actually stuck to it and finished it on time. I'm going to take it off because it's real hot in this house today. It's a good thing I'm recording an episode where I get to cover myself in wool all day. That is my other finished garment. I have one other small finished object, which is a cup cozy. And this is by Jazzy, and it's in knots on Instagram. She's the sweetest, and you should be friends with her. She also runs the Pattern Tester group and our yarn collective. So she's just all around pretty amazing. And she is releasing like 1 million cup cozy patterns. Maybe it's actually like 12, I don't know, but she's releasing quite a few. And they're all unique and they're all really fun. So I tested this one. This is the Boston Cup Cozy. It's got kind of like a houndstoothy look to it, if it'll focus. And I made this with, I love this cotton. The blue is just one of their color changing ones, and then just a dark gray. I also haven't woven in any ends because you know me. But yeah, I made this whole thing like with pattern testing in like 20 minutes. So really good, really fast, easy make, and super cute. So I'm very happy with that one. I think those are all I'm going to talk about in finished objects. I have a couple whips that are mostly, we're going to call them hibernating whips. I haven't worked on them in a while. But I'm going to show them to you because I haven't shown them before. So the first one, I think I did actually show this one off. I'm working on a baby blanket, and this is my like mindless crochet project right now that I'm like working on in between projects or just when I'm watching a movie and I can't devote that much attention to what I'm doing. I took it on a trip we went on, but I don't know if I'm really slow at making blankets. I've been working on this thing since like February with long breaks in between, and I'm still not done, but I'm getting closer. So that's my blanket. This is for a friend of mine. And it is made with the Hobby Lobby sugar wheel cakes, which are like the Karen cakes. And then I love this yarn is the gray. So I am almost done. It's worked on a bias corner to corner in moss stitch, which is my favorite stitch of all time. It makes some single crochet look beautiful. So yeah, I'm almost done. I've just got, it's hard to tell on this screen. I'm filling in that corner left. And then and then I have to do the edge. And then weave in the ends. Who knows? It could be another 4 months. There's no deadline, so it's getting worked on when it gets worked on. So that's one of my long-standing hibernating whips. Another whip that I have, oh, pardon. This was another pattern test that I did that I have been delinquent on and have not finished. But the pattern has been released and you should go check it out. So one of my goals for the year was actually to learn Tunisian crochet. And I have done it, or at least I've learned Tunisian simple stitch, which is where you start, I think. So this is the Easy Tunisian Shawl, of which I am about halfway, little over halfway done. I'm on the decrease end. And this is made with the Lion Brand Ombre yarn in this colorway because I have a type. It's so pretty. I love it. This is really soft yarn. I'm pretty sure it's the same yarn base as Lion Brand jeans, but in a cake form and pretty colors. So this has been a really fun pattern. It was a good learning experience for me. I also learned that I Tunisian crochet in such a way that causes me a bit of like shoulder and elbow pain, which is like an ongoing thing in my life. So it's not a big deal, but I basically had to take a break from this. And then the pattern came out and then it got really hot. And so I've not been working on this shawl. But I will, especially once it cools back down again, I will want to be wrapped up in this beauty. But this is the look of the Tunisian simple stitch. And I actually really love the back of the Tunisian simple stitch. I don't know if you can tell it very well in this, but it looks like pearl stitches to me, like knitting. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a very repetitive pattern, very easy, perfect beginner Tunisian pattern. She has a little video explaining how to do the stitch, and you should definitely check it out if you are looking to get into Tunisian. This is by Wildwood Designs Me on Ravelry and Instagram. And hi, Caitlin. She is just the best, and I was very happy to get to test this for her. She also dyes beautiful yarn, so if you are not already following her, you should be. And go check out this pattern. It is fantastic, and I will finish it, I promise. One day. You will see this on a finished objects segment one day in the future. I'm not going to make promises on when that day will be. What else are my whips? Oh, I have another one. Which bag is that in? This one. It's in my Illinois bag. So I'm working on another cardigan that I'm not testing and I don't have a deadline for, and so I haven't touched it in several months. But this is the Everyday Cardigan by A Crochet Simplicity. And I'm also making this in the Karen Cotton Cakes in their gray. So this cardigan, what I really like about it is that it looks more knit. Sorry, I'm pulling out stitches. It looks more knit than crocheted, and you know I love a good like modern crochet piece that doesn't look like your grandma made it. So, sorry, this has been in a bag for a long time, so I'm gonna smooth it out a little bit. I'm gonna see if you can see the stitch definition. So it is kind of this like knit ribbing look. Let's see if I can hold it up. And that is achieved by a couple different kind of unique ways of crocheting. The one thing that is irritating me about this pattern is that I have to switch hook sizes every row. And that's intentional, written into the pattern, and for some reason it's just kind of bugging me. It's not hard, just have to put down a hook and pick up a hook every single row. But I have the back panel and one of the front panel, and then I'm working on the second front panel, and then I have the sleeves and the edging to do. So I feel like I will be more motivated to finish that once it cools off again. This is all I have left of my first skein, and I have 2 more skeins of this, so hopefully that'll be enough. Yeah, I'm really excited to have this done. I think it'll be a really good like staple wardrobe item. But it is kind of time consuming and tedious to make it, which is always the dilemma. I told my husband, he laughed at me. I was like, I really enjoy having made things. In the middle of a pattern, I don't always enjoy the making of things, but I'm just trying to learn to not try to rush through everything, to just get to the end and enjoy the process of making instead of just making for the finished object. But sometimes when you've been doing the same stitch for like ever, I get a little bored, which is why I have so many whips and projects at one time. End of that little mini side rant. Oh dear, I have more. I forgot to even bring some stuff over. Let's see if there's anything else I need to grab. I think that's it. Let me go grab something and I will be right back. All right, guys, one of my project bags has wandered off, which is rude. It's somewhere in the house. I've seen it recently. I'm working on my flat iron shawl, which I started for the TL Yarn Crafts shawl along, and then I got distracted. So I am still on the first panel. I showed off the yarn in the last episode that I'm using for that. This was a gift from my fiber share partner this year, and she gifted me the yarn and the pattern, and it is lovely, and I'm very excited to have it. But it is a 3 skein fingering weight pattern with a lot of single crochet. So it's a slow going pattern. It's good for, it's an excellent pattern, but it's gonna take me a while to finish it. So I'm very excited to have it finished, but it is going to take me a long time. And that's okay. I'm embracing that. But I'm also working on too many other things at the same time. So I'll find that somewhere, and I will show that off in the next episode. Guys, I am the least organized podcaster ever. I hope you are okay with that. If you're here, if you're sticking around with me, thank you. And maybe one day I'll get my act together, who knows. So now I'm gonna move on to a very exciting segment for me, at least, which is my latest designs. So I released, since my last episode, the Fading Sky Shawl, which is this beauty. And I have worn this thing so many times since I made it. This is probably one of my favorite things that I've ever made, and you know, I only have a couple of designs, but it's for sure up there on my favorite designs. Super simple, super easy, fantastic yarn, guys. I'm going to rave about this yarn, and yeah, I'm just really happy with it. It is a cotton acrylic blend, so it's got excellent drape to it. It's color changing, so you don't have to weave in a bunch of ends. It is soft, it's lightweight, and it's a one skein pattern. So you know, what's not to love? I will show you up close the detail on this. So it alternates these lace panels with growing sections of moss stitch, my favorite. Sorry, I'm having trouble focusing today. Guys, I'm really happy with this pattern. And I know those of you who have already purchased it, thank you so much, and I hope you're loving it too. If you've purchased this pattern and made it, or any of my patterns, I would love to see them. If you can make a Ravelry project page, that is hugely helpful for designers, and it just shows me what you've been working on, and I love that. And if you make it on, if you want to tag me on Instagram, in any of my patterns, I include a hashtag for the pattern, and you can just tag me, and I will see it. I love to see people making things from a design that came out of my head. There's like not much better than that. So that is this pattern. It stays put. It is very comfortable. Even when it's hot outside, I've been wearing this like just in the evenings. So this yarn is, I don't have this colorway, I don't have any more of this colorway, but it is the Red Heart It's a Wrap Rainbow. And yeah, it's color changing. It's a, they call it a, no, yeah, it's a superfine. So it's like a fingering weight yarn. And it is actually made with, let's see if I can show you this. It's made with 4 or 5, 4 really thin, it's not going to focus. I'm recording with a new camera. It's my new phone, and so it's having some focusing issues. But it's made with 4 very thin strands, and then it just changes. So to get the like ombre effect, one of the strands changes out every so often into the next color until you have, so it starts off with 3 of one color and 1 of the other, and then it's 2 and then 3, and then you switch to another color. So it's never solid. It's never solid all one color. It's always got at least 1 strand of another color in it. But it's really subtle. I love it. I'm very happy with it. I get this yarn at Michael's, but I think you can get it at Joann's too. It's only about $10 a ball, I want to say, and you can get it, you can use coupons with it. So this is a really like affordable shawl, which I wanted to make a one skein project with an affordable yarn, because I know personally, even buying patterns sometimes it's an expense. And then to add on the cost of yarn, and if you're using hand-dyed quality yarn, which I love, you know I love, it can add up. And I don't want my patterns to feel inaccessible to people. So I know some of my patterns use a lot of yarn. I wanted this one to intentionally be a one skein, really easy. really accessible pattern. So that is the Fading Sky Shawl. It's available on Ravelry. I'll link to it down below. Yeah, let me know if you make it. I would love to see it. So that is my first design release in the last quarter since my last episode. Yeah. So I have one more design to show you, and this one is fresh off the hook because I literally just finished it this morning. But I just started it like 2 days ago. It was a fast moving pattern. It does not have a name yet. It's actually still slightly damp from being blocked, but I wasn't gonna wait to show you. So yeah, I am super happy with this pattern. I've got it written up. I'm gonna test it one more time myself and then release it to testers, and hopefully it will be out in the next month or two. I want this to be ready for fall. So this is a hat design, and it's a fingering weight hat because I love a good fingering weight hat for the fall. So it's not too hot and bulky, but on cool, crisp days, it's perfect. So, all right, I'm gonna put it on. You ready? I hope you're ready. So this is my new hat. Pardon my crazy hair sticking out. So I hope you can see this well enough, but it has a cabled brim and then just a simple design at the top of the body of the hat to let the cable really stand out. And it's just a nice slouchy, very loosely slouched, or sorry, very short slouch, like it's not a super long slouch. Yeah, that's my new hat. I've had this design floating around in my head for probably 6 months. And sometimes I get a design idea and I pick up some yarn and I make it. And sometimes I get a design idea and I draw it down in a notebook, very poorly drawn. And I like scribble a note on what I mean by that drawing because I probably won't be able to tell the next time I look at it. And then I just think about it for a long, long time until I've really thought through all the different ways that I want to make sure it works. And then when it's ready to come out on yarn, it works sometimes. So yeah, that was this hat, and I'm really, really happy with it. I'm gonna release it in like baby through adult sizes. So I want it to be for everyone. I really want to see this on a little baby head. So if you have a little baby, I'm gonna need to see it wearing this hat. So you tag me and I need to see all of the babies with this hat. And toddlers and, you know, kids too, that's great too. And grown-ups. I just don't have my own baby to put this cable on, so I need to see one of yours. So I'll show it to you up close. So yeah, this is my, this yarn is, I believe it's Madeline-Tosh. I dug it out of Deep Stash, and it did not have a ball band, so it's just a fingering weight wool super wash. Also, here's my ends. I started it, I had intended to design it with this yarn, which I got on vacation last year in Boston at Newberry Yarns. But my first test of this pattern, I started the cable here, but I decided the yarn was just too variegated and it needed a tonal or solid yarn. I love this yarn and it's going to be something beautiful one day when it grows up, but for now it's going to go back into my stash and I'm going to frog this a little bit, but I wanted to show you before I frogged it. So yeah, I kind of worked out the kinks with the cable here, decided I wanted it to be a slightly wider cable and in a solid color to really show it off, and I'm happy I went that direction. I I used exactly one skein for this, and it did need to be blocked. So if you make this in a non-wool yarn, you might need a little bit more yardage than I did, just to make it a little bit longer to give it that slouch, because I did have to block it, not aggressively, just slightly to kind of open it up and pull it out a little bit longer. Yeah, so for the adult size, one skein fingering weight yarn will get it done. So I'm gonna get this out to testers soon, and I'm really excited about it. I don't have a name for it, so if you have a name idea, drop a comment down below and let me know. I would take in suggestions. Naming patterns is hard, guys. Some people can do it fine. I'm not very good at it, I don't think. So yeah. Oh, one of my other favorite parts about this is that I double lined the brim. So, because you know the back of a cable is not super pretty. It's kind of messy looking, and it could be like a little feel weird on your forehead. So I wanted it to be really smooth, and so I double brimmed it. So, and that's all written out in the pattern how to do that, and it makes it really smooth on the inside and extra warm and cozy, which is not great when it's like 90 degrees outside right now, but will be great in the fall once it's hat wearing season. So yeah, that's this hat, and I hope you love it as much as I do. So that is my latest pattern release, or will be, once I get it out. I think I said this year that my goal was to release at least 3 patterns, and if I get this out, I will have met my goal of 3 for the year. I have a couple more designs floating around in my head, and I even have yarn for them, but we will see if they actually make it onto yarn in a reasonable time frame. Who knows, guys? Who knows? But yeah, that's my hat. I really wish it was hat weather right now because I want to wear it all the time. I might keep it on for a few more minutes. Do you mind? I hope you don't mind. That's the end of my design segment. I have a couple stash positions to show you. I think I've been pretty good, and I haven't bought a ton of yarn, or maybe I'm just forgetting what yarn I have bought, because that happens. I know I do have some more downstairs that I'm not going to show off, that I got at Hobby Lobby, but you'll see that in some future works in progress. I did go to YarnCon in Chicago in April. I know that was a while ago, but it was fantastic. I actually got to meet some yarn friends very briefly that I had previously only met on Instagram, so that was really fun. And I had some birthday money to spend because my family has realized that I have expensive taste in yarn and they don't want to buy it for me, but they just give me birthday money and then I get to go buy my own yarn. So I will show you what I got there. First of all, I got a new project bag because it's my colors and it has llamas on it. And this is from Darn Yarn. It's a good one skein project bag. There's a hook in it. I might look for that later. It's got a nice handle. This is just one of my stitch markers that I've clipped to it. Yeah, it's a really good, very nicely lined. Yeah, it fits one skein comfortably. So that was one of my YarnCon purchases, and then I got these beauties. Look how pretty they are. These are from the Nebula Fibers Collective, which is space themed. And look at the speckles on it. It's got beautiful speckles, really pretty blues, teals. This is the colorway Hello, which it says is inspired by the movie Passengers, which I'm not familiar with. It is a fingering weight superwash merino nylon blend, 75-25. And then this is Deep Space Black, which is a semi-solid, again, fingering weight. Really pretty tonal gray. So these two obviously go together. I don't know exactly what they're going to be yet, but I think they're going to be a shawl design. I'm going to try them out on one of the ones that's floating around in my head, and we will see how that turns out. But if they don't end up being that shawl design, I'm sure they will be something beautiful. But right now they're just living in their original yarn form, just being pretty. And then I got this skein from Northern Bee Studio. She actually had to custom dye this and send it to me, but I did kind of pick it out while I was there at YarnCon. I got this in exchange for doing a pattern sample, or not, a sample crochet for her that was on display at YarnCon, so that was kind of fun to see. This is her colorway Mumble Mouth on her yak sock base. So it's 20% yak, 10% nylon, and 70% superwash merino. And look at these colors. So it's a really deep purple and then like an earthy teal. Is that a good way to describe it? Like, it's not a bright teal. And then an even darker teal or blue in there, navy. It's so pretty. I don't know what this is going to be. I think it needs to stand on its own. So I don't know. If you have any good one skein fingering weight projects, drop them down below. I'm open to suggestion. And then I got out of a clearance bin these two. And these are old saris that have been recycled into yarn. And I really would like to use these to make bowls. Like, I want to make a yarn bowl out of yarn. So this is obviously, I had to get this color because it's all of my colors. And this one I thought was pretty. So these were an impulse $5 buy. But yeah, so we'll see how they turn out if I ever get around to making a yarn bowl from them. Whew, guys, it is too hot for a wool hat. All right. My last stash positions was also a birthday present that I got from my sister-in-law. She gave me a gift card to my favorite indie dyers Etsy shop. So these are from Moon Tower Dye Works. Look how pretty they are. She posted this one on Instagram and I was like, I need that, thank you. Look at all those colors. I mean, I couldn't resist. This is her DK base, and this colorway is called Alicia is Unique. And then I had her dye a custom tonal gray for me. Can you tell that, like, I'm drawn to a particular color scheme? I mean, really, this is a little ridiculous, but whatever, I know what I like. So she named this one Grayish. This is her DK base, 100% superwash merino, 115 grams, 250 yards. So these I'm also hoping will be a design. So stay tuned for that. They're so pretty. Guys, if you don't have any Moon Tower Dye Works in your life, let me tell you, you need to get some. She is the most vibrant dyer. Like, her colors are just amazing, and I love them. And she's just a lovely person. So, there you go. These are my new yarn babies. Well, was that enough? This isn't as long of an episode as I thought it was going to be, given that it's been 4 months since I've updated you on anything. life has been kind of crazy, like I said. So I'm just going to go into a little bit of life update, and then that'll be it. So yeah, my oldest son finished kindergarten, which is weird. Like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I suddenly have a child going into first grade. I don't know how I'm old enough to have a child going into first grade. That's a whole different issue. And my littlest is still just his crazy little self in daycare. So he's not in kindergarten yet, making me feel old. But yeah, so I'm officially going to have a first grader in about a month. And it's been really fun. It's been really fun to watch him get older, and yeah, he's like a real person now. What else has been going on? We've just been busy. Life has been busy. We went on a family vacation to St. Louis, which if you have kids and you are within driving distance of St. Louis, I highly recommend it. It is a great family-friendly city. This is actually the third time we've vacationed there as a family, which is a little ridiculous, I understand, but it was really great. And yeah, otherwise it's just been work and life and yarn. So I don't have anything major to update you on. I hope you are doing well. I would love if you leave a comment down below and tell me what you're working on. I did want to mention, I know I had a giveaway in my last episode. Because it had been so long since I've recorded, I did just draw a winner and go ahead and reach out to those winners. So that happened a while ago, so congratulations to those of you who won that copy of my pattern. Yeah, I really appreciate you sticking around with my super inconsistent little podcast. I love just being a part of this yarn community and seeing what everyone's working on, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and that you're staying cool and that you are working on something fun. So I will hopefully be back in not 4 months. That's about as much of a guaranteed timeline I'm going to give you. But yeah, stay tuned. Definitely follow me on Instagram and watch for this pattern release for my new hat design. And there will be a coupon code and all that good stuff. Leave me a comment down below if you have a name suggestion and also anything else you'd like to tell me. I would love to be your friend. Thanks for sticking around and thanks for coming back, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!